Jaiva Dharma from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Premdas Babaji, Paramahamsa Babaji Maharaj was approached by one sannyasi with some Mayavad understanding, but coming in the association of the devotees, he understood the need to surrender to the Vaishnavas. So he approached Premdas Babaji Maharaj and asked questions about Dharma. What is Dharma? So Babaji Maharaj is explaining Dharma. So specifically about Nitya Dharma, so that means devotional service to the Lord. So by nature everyone is eternal servant of Krishna. That is the Swabhav. Jivara Sopoi Krishnera Nityadas. But in contact with this material world, it becomes distorted. So it is called Nisarga. And because of that, in the material world, the living entities identifying with this material world and he's taking that to be his swabhav, his actual nature, which is not. So he's explaining that I explained last time also, but so here Premdas Babaji Maharaj is explaining. For example, water is an object and its swabhav is liquidity. When water solidifies due to certain circumstances and becomes ice, the acquired nature of solidity takes the place of its inherent nature. In reality, this acquired nature is not eternal. Rather, it is occasional or temporary. It arises because of some cause, and when that cause is no longer effective, this acquired nature vanishes automatically. However, the Swabhav is eternal. It may become distorted, but it still remains inseparably connected to its object. And the original nature will certainly become evident again when the proper time and circumstances arise. So, हो गया? क्या? तो चाबी? बाहर क्या? Oh, you went home? Okay, ladies, दोनों चाबी है और क्या? ठीक है. But we still have to do things in this world too. So here in regards to water is giving the example. So it is liquid, but if you put it in the fridge, it becomes ice. Similarly, the soul, when it comes in this material world and identifies with this material body, with this material world. But just like when you take out the ice of the fridge, out of the fridge, and it is hot, like now, very quickly becomes water. Similarly, if we are engaged in devotional service, very quickly our true nature will be established. Of course, very quickly takes a little time, because we are very conditioned in this world. And to give up this swabhav of this world is not easy, identifying with this material world, with this material worldy. But again, in terms of eternal time, it is then not long. Once we start devotional service, so very quickly, in a few lifetimes, we'll be fine. We'll be engaged fully in Krishna Seva, in the service of Mahaprabhu. So we are on the right path. What happened here? The swabhava of an object is its nitya dharma, eternal function, while its acquired nature is its naimittika dharma, occasional function. So nitya dharma and naimittika dharma. Those who have true knowledge of objects, vastu gyan, can know the difference between eternal and occasional function. Whereas those who lack this knowledge consider acquired nature to be true nature, and they constantly mistake the temporary dharma for eternal dharma. So sometimes people in this world, and India of course, they follow Varnashram dharma and they identify with that. I'm a Brahmana. Specifically. So they may have some knowledge of the soul, but they are not transcendently situated, and they are attached to their position. What is it that is called vastu, and what is the meaning of sabhav? Asks Sannyasi Thakur. Paramahamsa Babaji said, the word vastu is derived from the Sanskrit verbal root vas, which means to exist or to dwell. The verbal root becomes a noun when the suffix tu is added. Therefore, vastu means that which has existence or which is self-evident. There are two types of vastu, vastav vastu and avastav vastu. The term truly abiding substance, vastav vastu, refers to that which is grounded in transcendence. So what is vastav vastu? Transcendental. Any example? Krishna? Krishna is Vastav Vastu, and then the holy name is Vastav Vastu. The pure devotional service is Vastav Vastu. When we are understanding our relationship with Krishna, the eternal abode is Vastav Vastu. And so when we are realized, then we are also Vastav Vastu. When we realize I'm the eternal servant of Krishna, or Krishna is my friend, or Krishna is my beloved. Temporary objects, avastav vastu, are dravya. Solid objects, gun, qualities, and so on. So that refers of this material world, dravya. So because transcendental objects, that is vastav vastu, anything of the spiritual world, from the Sandini Shakti also, Balram. And anything of a tree, even a rock in Golok. So that is Vastav Vastu. But then in the material world, so that is the Sandini Shakti. When it is manifest in the material world, it is known as Dravya, Dravya Shakti. That is explained in Bhagavatam also. Similarly, then the knowledge also knowledge is Chinmay, Satchid. So that is Krishna himself. Satchidananda Vigraha. Chinmay. And so the Samvit Shakti, the knowledge potency that is Krishna himself, of course is, everything is including Krishna, Sandini, Samvit and Hladini. But still then there is also explained that Balaram is Sandini and Radhani Hladini Shakti and Krishna Samvit Shakti. So transcendental knowledge, that is Vastav Vastu. And then in the material world, that knowledge, so which is there, the Jnana Shakti of this material world, so that is Avastav Vastu, that is not the real Vastu. But that is coming from Samvit Shakti also. And then here gun or qualities or activity of this world. So in the spiritual world, Srimati Radharani is the Hladini Shakti, the pleasure potency, and she is most able to give pleasure to Krishna in loving exchange. So in this material world, so the Hladini Shakti becomes the Kriya Shakti in this material world. So transcendentally Vastav, and in this material world it is Avastav Vastu. Real objects have eternal existence. Unreal objects only have a semblance of existence, which is sometimes real and sometimes unreal. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. So the Mayavadis are saying that the spiritual existence is the truth and material world is false. At the same time, the material world is also real, so from the point of view of the Vaishnavas, but it is the Avastav Vastu, it is the semblance of the real existence. It is the perverted reflection of the real existence in the material world, but at the same time, we cannot say it is completely false. So, but the Mayavadis, they will say, but we as Vaishnavas, we say it is temporary. But at the same time, so we also say the material world is real, but it is Avastav Vastu. So it is a semblance of the real existence. So in this material world, we experience some pain and some pleasure. So there's some reality is there. If somebody is punching you in the face, you feel some pain, right? And you cannot say it is not real, it's not real. You'll be crying if I hit you hard. So, but it is not the real Vastav Vastu, real existence. It is a semblance. So the emotions in the material world are there because they're there in the spiritual world, but in the material world, because Krishna is not in the center, so therefore it is perverted, or it is a semblance of the real existence. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 1st chapter, 2nd verse, Vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam. Only a truly abiding substance which is related to the Supreme Absolute Truth and which yields supreme auspiciousness is worthy of being known. Vedyam, to be known. Vastavam, atra vastu. Vastavam vastu. Shivadam, it is auspicious. From this statement, it is clearly, so who knows the verse, how it starts? Dharma, Projita, Kaitava, and so on. So if it is if Dharma is not connected to the Supreme Lord, that it is cheating religion. Avastav Dharma. Vastav Dharma is when Krishna is in the center. That is Nitya Dharma. Otherwise it is not Naimitika Dharma. It pertains to this material world. It is temporary. Like the Christian religion, Muslim religion, so many religions may be there. So it is helpful to some extent if they are following strictly, but ultimately they have to come to the platform of Vastav, Sanatan Dharma, Vastav Dharma, real Dharma, that is Vaishnava Dharma, that is serving Krishna. So from this statement it is clearly understood that the only real substance is that which is related to the supreme transcendence. Sri Bhagavan is the only real entity, Vastav Vastu. The living entity, Jiva, is a distinct or individual part of that entity. So we are part and parcels of Krishna. So we are also Vastav Vastu, but we are infinitesimal, Anu, and Krishna is Vibhu, Krishna is unlimited. While Maya, the potency that produces bewilderment, is the energy of that entity. Therefore, the word Vastu refers to three fundamental principles: Bhagavan, the Jiva, and Maya. Knowledge of the mutual relationship between these three principles is known as pure knowledge, Shuddha Gyan. So, knowledge of these three, Bhagavan, Jiva, and Maya, the mutual relationship. So that we say also what it is at the beginning, Sambandha Gyan. We know Bhagavan, we know the Jiva as the eternal servant of Krishna, and we know Maya is there. We belong to the spiritual realm, but somehow we are here in the material world, and we have to get out of this material world. So that is Sambandha Gyan, Shuddha Gyan, and then we engage in devotional service, Abhideya Gyan, and then eventually we come to Prayojan Gyan, the necessity, the highest principle when one is above the modes of material nature and engage in the loving service and transcendental loving exchange with Krishna. There are innumerable apparent representations of these three principles, and they are all regarded as avastav vastu, unreal substances. So there are innumerable apparent representations of these three principles. They are avastav vastu. Different religions, and they have some understanding, but it is not real understanding. So therefore, religion, they have some knowledge of God, and they also know we are spirit soul, and they have some Jesus Christ, because he was empowered, so he gave some principles, some understanding, but they were not qualified to understand fully. And so therefore, so he was also saying, and it is mentioned in the Bible, you should glorify the Lord. But first of all also, the God, which is there explained in the Bible, so it refers ultimately to Krishna, but because they were not qualified, so the details were not given. So they know God is there, they know we are spirit soul, and we have to glorify God. But it is not complete, it is not perfect. So therefore that is known as Naimitika Dharma. So here, as explained, Avastav Vastu. By nature everything is real, so ultimately, but here it is nisarga, this vikriti, is changed due to contact with the material world. The classification of phenomena into various categories such as objects, dravya, and qualities, guna, which is undertaken by the Vaisheshika school of philosophy, is merely a deliberation on the nature of avastav vastu, temporary objects. Vaisheshika school. Who is the Acharya? You can guess, there are 6 persons, right? Who is it? No Jaimini. Is Vaisheshika philosophy. Not Vaisheshika, not Vyas, not Jaimini. Yes, and Vedavyas is Uttarmimamsa, Vedanta. So we have 4 left. So what is Vaisheshika? No. Kannada. That is, he has propounded his Vaisheshika philosophy. Anyay, Gautam. And 2 more. Patanjali, Yoga, and Kapil Dev, Sankhya. The special characteristic, Vishesh Gun of any truly abiding substance is its factual nature. The Jiva is a real entity and his eternal characteristic quality is his true nature. So the Jiva is a real entity and the eternal characteristic quality is his true nature. That is Jaiva Dharma, Jivka Dharma. And that is devotional service. Pure devotional service. So, but the service of the Christians, it is not pure. Because they don't know the Vastu Krishna. They only have some vague idea of God. He has a long beard, he's the oldest person, he has grey hair, because he is the oldest person. But that is not true. Krishna is the oldest person, Adi Purush. But his hair is very beautiful, black color hair. Beautiful locks up to here, his hair. So, and his Nava-yovanam is ever young, like 15, 16 years old. That is Vastu, Krishna. The real object, the real personality, that is the real understanding. But the Christian understanding is not complete of God. Sannyasi Maharaj said, Prabhu, I want to understand this topic very clearly. Babaji Mahashaya replied, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was an object of the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, showed me a manuscript that he had written with his own hand. Sriman Mahaprabhu has instructed us on this subject in the book named Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrita as follows. Jivere Swarupa hoy, Krishnera Nityadas, Krishnera Tatashta Shakti Beda Beda Prakash. The constitutional nature of the Jiva is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. He is the marginal potency of Krishna and is a manifestation simultaneously one with him and different from him. Tatashta Shakti. Beda Bed Prakash. Non different from Krishna. Krishna is Satchidananda Swarup and we also Satchidananda Swarup. So non different from Krishna. Abed. But then Bed is there also. Different because Krishna is Vibhu is unlimited and we are very limited. Infinitesimal. Krishna boli se jiva anadi bahir mukha ateva mayatare deya samsara dukkha. The jiva who has forgotten Krishna has been preoccupied with the external potency since time without beginning. Anadi bahir mukha. So therefore, so we know 2 jivas are there, Nitya Siddha, Nitya Bhada, or Anadi Bhada. Since time immemorial conditioned, or eternally conditioned. So that is explained. So the Nitya Siddha, they are always serving Krishna. They always serve Krishna, they are always serving Krishna, they will always serve Krishna. Like Lalita, Vishaka, Rupa, Rati, Manjari. They were never conditioned, they will not be conditioned, they can never be conditioned. Not possible that they fall in Maya. But the Nitya Bhada, eternally conditioned means, so they also eternal servants of Krishna by nature, but they are not serving Krishna. Since time immemorial, Anadikal, they are existing, but they are not serving Krishna. So these are the unlimited jivas which are there in the Brahma Jyoti, and they are not serving Krishna, but they are also eternal servants of Krishna. So Krishna, so by Krishna's will they are manifested, the Nitya Siddha and the Nitya Bhada. But then when the material world is manifested, then the Nitya Bhada, by the mercy of the Lord and the pure devotees, they may understand their nature, and then they may engage in devotional service, they may become pure. And then once engaged in the service of Krishna, then there's no chance of them also becoming conditioned again. So the jiva who has forgotten Krishna has been preoccupied with the external potency since time without beginning. Consequently, Krishna's illusory potency Maya gives him measure in the form of material existence. So the jiva who has forgotten Krishna has been preoccupied with the external potency since time without beginning. So we should understand that it's only when the material world is manifested, because the material world is not always manifest. So when the material world is not manifested, where they are, these jivas, they are there in the Brahma Jyoti. But when the material world is manifested, and then these jivas, not all of them, only some, which is a lot, almost unlimited. Because so when the material world is manifested, it is just one part of the spiritual sky, which is a kind of covered. And then the jivas, they fall down in this material existence. And then they are bahirmukh. Otherwise they're just in the Brahma Jyoti, not doing anything, but eternal servants of Krishna, but they are not serving at present. It is dormant. Their spiritual form is there, but it is not manifest, it is dormant. So they are not active, they are inactive. So the material world is only sometimes manifest, which is a long time, as we know. So Mahavishnu is breathing out, and then unlimited universes are manifest, and that is a long time when they are manifest. But it is just one breath. Is the greatest yogi is Mahavishnu, is Anulom Vilom, right? Taking in and out the breath. We can do maybe for a few seconds, or maybe 10 seconds, half a minute, something. We can slowly take it in and then hold it maybe for 1 minute, and then half a minute taking out the air and holding for 1 minute maybe at the most. Somebody can do more, like Dhruva Maharaj. So he was keeping the breath for 1 month or so. So, but even 1 month is nothing, right? So Mahavishnu is breathing out, and that is unlimited, almost for us, unlimited amount of time. Trillions of years. And then he's inhaling, and all universe is entering his body. And again, in and out, in and out, in and out, for a long time. But at one point, then everything is wound up, and there's no Mahavishnu. He's entering into Mahashankarshan. And no Garbhodaksha Vishnu, no Paramatma. And then for a long time, there's no material existence. There's only spiritual existence there. And the jivas are there, those serving Krishna, Nitya Siddha, and then the Nitya Bhada, unlimited. They're not in Maya, but they are conditioned. Spiritual conditioning, they are in the spiritual sky. But they are not serving. So, somehow, I guess bad luck. But then when material world is manifest, then by the mercy of the Lord and the pure devotee, they can understand their nature and then engage in devotional service. And once liberated, then they will always be serving Krishna. So that we have to understand. But so anyway, the point was, when the material world is manifest, just some of the jivas of Nitya Bhada category, they come in this world, only some, because they are unlimited in the spiritual sky.
jivas come into the material world when the material world is manifested. So in that sense, the others who are in the Brahm Jyoti, we are more fortunate because we got a chance to now go back to
right.
To Guru, right?
Yes.
In one way.
Yes.
And in one way we are unfortunate.
Yeah, we are fortunate because there's a chance that soon we will be able to engage in devotional service.
Because the rest of them are still in Brahma Jyoti.
Yeah. Yeah. So Krishna is the complete transcendental substance, Chidvastu. Is often compared to the sun of the spiritual realm, and the jivas are compared to the sun's atomic particles of light. Jivas are innumerable. When it is said that they are individual parts of Krishna, it does not mean that they are like the pieces of stone that form a mountain. Although innumerable jiva portions emanate from Sri Krishna, is not diminished by this in the slightest. So here comparison of a mountain under the stones. So there are many stones there in the mountain, and so if you separate them and you take them somewhere, like you have the Govardhan and the Shilas are there. If you take all the Shilas, many want Govardhan Shilas, right? You have Govardhan Shila? Many devotees want. You want one Govardhan Shila? You want? So if you take all the Shilas, then maybe the hill is gone. So but with Krishna is not like that. So Krishna is, so that is the example here. Of course, if you see Govardhan is not different from Krishna. So if you go down, Govardhan is also almost unlimited. But just as a material example, if a hill is there and you break it and you take the stones, then the hill is gone. Like sometimes they do. They put some balm and they break the hill and then they take the stones. And the hill is gone. So, but the unlimited jivas, and but Krishna is still perfect and complete. So, therefore, the example of the sun, a sun's rays is more appropriate. Like there are unlimited, so the sun is there, unlimited sun rays are there, and small particles are there in the sun rays. So, but the sun is not diminished by that. The sun is always full and complete in that sense. So similarly, Krishna is perfect and complete. And although so many units are coming from him, but still is complete. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamaivavashishyate. You know the verse? By heart? Almost. You know? You forgot. You think you know. Okay, say. Okay, you have to revise it. Next time we'll ask you. And you should also revise. Important verses we should not forget, you know? Okay. Okay, say.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnamevavashishyate. Okay. All the innumerable jiva portions emanate from Sri Krishna is not diminished by this in the slightest. For this reason, the Vedas have compared the jivas in one respect to sparks emanating from a fire. In reality, no adequate comparison can be made. So it is just to give some explanation. The example of the fire and the spark from the fire is given, or the particles of the sunshine and the sun. But it is not completely fitting. No comparison whether the sparks of a blazing fire, atomic particles within the rays of the sun, or gold produced from powerful mystic jewels is completely appropriate. The true nature of the jiva is easily revealed in the heart, but only when the mundane conception of these comparisons is given up. So these comparisons are given just to get some idea, but but only if one is engaged in pure devotional service, then one's true nature will be revealed, realized, and Krishna's wonderful transcendental nature that will be understood properly. And how Krishna is unlimited. So tattva vichar, in the consideration of the absolute truth. But then later on also we have to give up that understanding. So the Krishna is the Supreme Lord, He's all powerful. As sadhaka we always remember that, but then when we are coming to the platform of the Siddha Avastha, or the transcendental platform, then in relationship to Krishna, then Krishna is our best friend, is our beloved. And then we forget this nature of Krishna also. That is, the Supreme Lord is unlimited. The Krishna is our beloved object, Prananath, the Lord of our life. Krishna is infinite spiritual substance, Brihat Chidvastu, but in the beginning, so we have to be fixed in Tattva Vichar, in the consideration of the absolute truth. And only when we are fixed and purified in existence, then we can enter into the realm of spontaneous devotional service. And those who are then absorbed in that, but still, then because the sadhak sharir is there, the devotee or the body of a devotee is there, so then when they are on that platform, then they also are aware of Krishna's position as the Supreme Lord. So Antardasha and Bahyadasha is there. So Krishna is infinite spiritual substance, Briyat Chid Vastu, whereas the jivas are infinitesimal spiritual substance, Anuchid Vastu. Briyat and Anu Chid Vastu. Chid means transcendental, Vastu, object. The oneness of Krishna and the jivas lies in the spiritual nature, Chid Vastu. Satchidananda Vigraha, Chid Dharma. But they are undoubtedly different as well, because their natures are complete and incomplete respectively. Krishna is complete, perfect and complete, and the jivas are incomplete, they are infinitesimal. Krishna is the eternal Lord of the jivas, and the jivas are Krishna's eternal servants. This interrelationship is natural. Krishna is the attractor and the jivas are attracted. Krishna is the supreme ruler and the jivas are ruled. Krishna is the observer and the jivas are observed. So the devotees in purified consciousness, they will very well understand this fact. Krishna is a complete whole and the jivas are poor and insignificant. Krishna is the possessor of all potency and the jivas are devoid of potency. Therefore, the eternal Swabhava or Dharma of the jiva is Krishna Dasya, eternal service and obedience to Krishna. Very simple, right? Okay. Any questions? Yes. थोड़े से बहुत सारे हैं. There are many jivas in the Brahma Jyoti. But it is true from one point of view there are many more jivas who are engaged in service. The Nitya Siddha Parikar are much more than the Nitya Bada. But still, from our point of view, there are so many Nitya Badas also in the Brahma Jyoti. And then in this material world.
it that those मतलब कि जो ब्रह्म ज्योति में ऑलरेडी मर्ज होना चाहते थे उनके तो मर्ज मतलब वो जीवात्माएं हैं या फिर बाई चांस इतनी यहाँ आई और इतनी वहाँ है?
Yeah, this is by the will of the Lord. By the will of the Lord, Nitya Siddha, Nitya Badha. Nitya Siddha always serving. And the Nitya Badha are there in the spiritual sky and they are conditioned. Since time immemorial. They are also eternal servants of Krishna by nature, but they are not serving Krishna. They are in the conditioned state, spiritually conditioned state. Because there is no Maya in the spiritual sky. But the jivas there, the Nitya Badha, they are conditioned. They are also servants of Krishna, but they are dormant state, just like the seeds. So and then there are unlimited of them almost. But then when the material world is manifest, some of them, they fall in this world. Where the material world is manifested, it is just like a cloud. Or the spiritual world, in the spiritual world which is the eternal sky, which is all effulgence, but sometimes there's a cloud-like situation. And that is the material world. And then those jivas, so they will be there, they will fall in the material world. But then they have a chance to engage in devotional service.
So in Brahmajyoti, they don't have that desire to merge in Brahmajyoti.
They're already in the Brahmajyoti. They don't have to desire. They are there. They are there.
Okay.
Since time immemorial, there is no desire than anything.
So if in this material world, some jivas have that inclination to merge in Brahmajyoti.
Yes,
So
they can.
So वो कहाँ जाते हैं? वो
They will go to Brahmajyoti. They go to the Brahmajyoti, yeah.
the same Brahmajyoti.
Same Brahmajyoti, yeah. So therefore it is useless. Therefore it is mentioned in 10th canto, so they will go there, but they will come down again at some point, because from there usually we will not go to the spiritual sky. I mean to the service of Krishna.
So they naturally are like luck by chance कि they are like lottery, okay?
Lottery.
Lottery कि some people are chosen by luck, right? So those jivas who are in this material world, it's like chosen by Lord's sweet will that they will come here and have inclination for attaining Godhead or devotional service.
By the will of providence, yeah. Will of the providence is the will of the Lord. So one point the material world is manifest, and then some jivas were at that region, so they fall to this material world, and then they become conditioned, but then they have the chance to revive or to understand their spiritual nature. And it is also mentioned in this Jaiva Dharma in one place, that some of them, when they were falling, so there's a chance that they may look to the spiritual world, and they may go there and engage in the service of the Lord. That may be there, but rare also.
हम कहते हैं कि बर्थ बाय बर्थ मतलब कि जरूरी नहीं है कि एक ही बर्थ टाइम में आप भगवान को प्राप्त कर सकते हो या अपनी डिवोशनल सर्विस. there are so many stages of
Yes, so the question is that it is not that in one lifetime we can achieve perfection.
But इसका मतलब ये भी तो नहीं है ना कि it's not an urgent requirement that we should be alerted. Like बहुत urgently हमें वो requirement होनी चाहिए कि हमें तो भगवान को पाना ऐसा नहीं.
Yeah, no, it is urgent that we have to achieve Krishna. Why you want to live in this material? It is urgency, yes. If you're not urgent, okay, I don't have to really endeavor to become free. If there's no urgency, you will not attain perfection. You need to be, you have to understand it is urgent to become realized. If you're not feeling the urgency, then if you're just relaxed. Yeah, so don't be too much relaxed. You should be eager to become free from Maya.
Even if we know that there would be so many birth times, I have to.
Yes.
I have to
Attain. Yeah. You have to be urgent, and that is there. At the same time, also it is true, So you should not be too relaxed. Okay, it doesn't matter. It will take many lifetimes. So some urgency has to be there. Now I have to become perfect quickly. At the same time, don't break your head too much and trying to become perfect in one lifetime, which may not be possible. So you have to be, urgency has to be there. Lolyam, the desire, strong desire, but at the same time relax also. Because you may not be able to achieve in one lifetime.
Yeah, urgency not for like I have to achieve it in this lifetime only. It's like
Would be nice if I can do it in one lifetime. But if not in this lifetime, we do it in the next lifetime. So this urgency has to be there, and then you be relaxed also. Yeah. Yes.
Is there any chance that if we are not taking it as an urgency, and if we are thinking, okay, I'm busy in this, that,
Yeah.
then okay, next lifetime. So is there any chance that we might get a form of an animal in the next life?
No, if you engage in devotional service and you're nicely engaged, then you will not get an animal body. But if you are as a devotee, but then you are engaged in sense gratification, if you eat like a dog, Mahaprasad, just after Mahaprasad, and like the pujari sometimes, right, stashing all the Mahaprasad or something. But that is rare usually, because it is really degradation. But if the animalistic property is there, and you're too much in that, then there's a chance of falling down. I mean, even Bharat Maharaj, right, he became a deer, just because he was attached to the small baby deer. And he wasn't really doing anything bad otherwise. But so that is to show that we have to be careful. We have to be careful, especially in the Dharma also. So we have to be careful, and we should try to be regulated in our life, and we should try to see that we have to engage in devotional service as much as possible, and we avoid sense gratification.
So whether when Bharat Maharaj got attracted to a deer, did he get devotional service completely?
No, he was still engaged, but he was at the same time diverted. He was doing his puja, and then the small deer was there, and then he just neglected his puja also.
Yes, but then if a devotee from Bhavavastha can fall down in the form of a deer,
then what is your position? Huh? You're afraid now, right? Yeah, you have to be afraid and be careful. But it is very rare that from Bhavavastha one will fall down. But the example is given so that we are careful, that we have to be careful, not taking for granted. I'm chanting 16 rounds, I'm wearing dhoti and I've kantimala, putting tilak, and I'm doing little puja, so I am okay. So still you have to be understanding that you have to be something serious, you have to be serious. From anatta nivriti you can fall down, yeah, when anatta nivriti is there. So therefore you have to try to come to nishta. I mean, anatta nivriti is still a kind of fallen condition. When you are nishta, then you are okay. So when you are anatta nivriti, like sometimes we say, oh, this person fell down. But if he's in anatta nivriti, it is almost natural. So he has not achieved yet a platform by which you can say he fell down. If one is on nishta, ruchi, asakti, bhav, so then you can say fall down. But if one is on anatta nivriti, so many anattas are there, one is in the material world, under the most material nature, so it's not really any fall down. You are fallen. You are fallen. If you are anatta nivriti, you are fallen.
Already there.
You are fallen. What you can fall down? Like a child is crawling. He's crawling, and then sometimes he's standing up a few steps and he's falling again. So that is fallen condition. So anatta nivriti is still fallen. When you are in nishta and ruchi, then you're okay. But then if you are not careful, then you can fall down. But if you are not nivriti, you are not really falling down. You are fallen. So try to get up.
But from anatta nivriti,
if you can become an animal. Yes, of course. If you are a human being and you become an animal, you have fallen more. And Prabhupada said, those in Vrindavan who perform illicit activities, especially in regards to the opposite sex, then they become monkey or they become dogs. So there are many monkeys and dogs here, right? So many of them are fallen sadhus. Who are sadhus, but at the same time, we respect all, but we have heard even in Radhakund, but we have respect for all those who are really doing bhajan. But there's some of them there who are keeping, doing so-called bhajans, but even Prabhupada used to say Bhaktisiddhanta, and we have heard also. And then they're keeping a relationship with women also. So that is fallen condition then. Yes.
Then have they entered this evolution cycle again, or?
No, after one birth being a monkey or a dog, they may come again. They may again become devotee, and then they may continue. It is a punishment. Yeah. So the laws of material nature are a little different here. But we should try not to become a dog, right? So have to. Right. Yeah. So these are exceptional cases. That is for devotees.
Not fine.
But
Not fine,
but not too bad, huh?
No, but they have,
Yeah.
Bhavavastha se abhi jैसे theory example.
Huh? What?
अगर भावावस्था से we can fall down. Like
Yes.
It's just an example for devotees.
Right.
So भावावस्था में भी मैंने जब ये सुना है कि सच है कि भावावस्था के भी stages होते हैं. भावावस्था के कनिष्ठ.
Yeah.
भावावस्था के उत्तम अवस्था पे पहुंच के fall down नहीं होता.
No. So the question is if what the three stages of Uttamadikari, first, second and third. Kanishtam Uttam, Madhyam Uttam. So the Uttam Vaishnava, they will never fall down. Madhyam will not fall down. But the Kanishtam, he may fall down, which is rare also, but he may. So that is the example of Bharat. Beginning stage of Uttamadikari, they may fall down. Yeah.
Is it not कि अगर better से अगर अभी हमें जो opportunities मिली जो कृपा प्राप्त हुई है अगर उसे अभी यूटिलाइज नहीं किया और जैसे प्रभु जी पूछ रहे थे कि दूसरा जन्म में भी डिग्रेडेड हुए एनिमल फॉर्म ना मिले पर क्या ऐसा हो सकता है कि जब हमने यहाँ पे अच्छी ये अपॉर्चुनिटीज यूटिलाइज नहीं करी मे भी दूसरे जन्म में भगवान को अपॉर्चुनिटीज प्रोवाइड ना करे या तो अपॉर्चुनिटीज है पर वो बुद्धि ना दे यूटिलाइज करने की हमें जरूरी नहीं कि जैसे आपने बताया ना कि आप डिवोशनल सर्विस में जुड़े हो सब है बट फिर भी कुछ ऐसा हुआ कि डिग्रेडेड मतलब कि फॉल डाउन होता है ठीक है कुछ भी ऐसा हो तो इज इट लाइक कि एनिमल फॉर्म में मिलेगा या तो आपको वो अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं दी जाएगी लाइक पनिशमेंट रिहैब जैसा कि आपको वो अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं दी जाएगी जो अभी है जैसे धाम है साधु संघ है आजू बाजू भक्तों का संघ है शास्त्र है सब है.
So the question is if one is engaged in devotional service, one has all opportunities, but if one is not taking advantage of that, so then what may be the position after? So that depends on our consciousness and how we are engaged in devotional service. And if we are engaged in material activities, then there is degradation. So, but that depends on the case of the different individual devotees. So if one is engaged in devotional activities, especially in the Dharma, all opportunities there, but then if a person is then performing sinful activities, so then he will be degraded. So especially in regards to illicit sex, and then he will become a dog or a hog. Or if he's stealing money from the temple or from other devotees, then there will be punishment for that, and then he will be degraded. But if it is not so severe, then he will get another chance. If he's engaged in devotional service, but sometimes he's eating a little bit too much prasadam or whatever it may be, then or a person might just want to have a nice situation here, and he's attracted to having a nice car or maybe mobile or this and that or nice clothes. So then he may not attain pure devotional service, but in the next lifetime he may get another opportunity in the human form of life, and then he may take birth in an aristocratic family or a Vaishnava family, so then he may advance. Krishna is always trying to help us. Krishna is there to help us. But then if you are not able to take full advantage, then there will be some delay. and according to our consciousness, according to our activities, then there may be some kind of punishment also there, so that we are rectified. But then Krishna will try to help us again. He's always there to help us, just like a father. If the child is not doing what the father is saying, and is going away and trying to be independent, and is not doing so well, but the father is always thinking about him. And if the child is coming back, then he will be very happy, and he will again try to help him. Even if he's not doing well, he will try to help. So what to speak of Krishna? He's our real father, he's our real well-wisher. So he will always try to help us. But because of the conditioned nature, because of the modes of material nature, especially the lower modes, then the individual devotees, they may sometimes be degraded for some time, for the time being. Or they may not achieve perfection, but in the next lifetime they may have a better opportunity. So Krishna is always trying to help. So we should know, and we should be confident. But again, so the urgency has to be there to do well, not to be too relaxed. Okay, and it will take me a few lifetimes, no problem, so I relax. No, you try your best to make more advancement. And then you cry out. If you see that you're in a wretched position, then you have to cry out. When anatta nivriti is there, you want to advance but you cannot. Hridaya Daurbalyam, Asat Trishna, still attracted to the material world. And then sense purification may be there. But then you have to cry out, please Krishna help me. And you beg forgiveness from Krishna. Or again I engage in sense purification too much. So please forgive me. So then you have to cry out. You have to repent also if you do engage in sense gratification. But at least so we should try to see that we not engage in sinful activities. And then we should try to avoid to be too much engaged in sense gratification. But it is not easy to give up sense gratification completely, so it will take time. But then we should pray that we can give up and be fully engaged in spiritual activities with the body, mind and words constantly. But it will take some time to be able to do that. So, but then you pray to Krishna, you cry out to Krishna so that you can be nicely engaged and so you can advance. And if you don't attain perfection, if you see that it's going to be difficult to attain perfection, then you pray that in the next lifetime I may have a better situation, I may have a better body, may have a better environment, may have better association, and so I may advance more. So we have to pray for the next lifetime. Okay? Any other question? Hare Krishna Mahaprasadam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki, Satyanandana Gaura Hari ki, Sri Radha Shyam Sundar ki. Hare Krishna.